Okay, so there are officially no theme functions in core. Um,
Yay!
Yay! And other than that, not a lot because we're in RC, but um, I'd worked on some tests to make sure that our libraries don't 404 when we change stuff, and that got committed, so that's good. Um, and then that kind of was blocking copying all the stuff to stable as well, so um, David mentioned on IRC that he might try to review that on the weekend. And yeah, I think Bad Camp was good. Um, not too much else to report. Hey, Morton. And I did make an agenda, but I just literally copied the last one. I don't know if there's really much to change on here. I'll just drop that in the chat if we want to use that at all. Because, well, if Laurie and Joel would hear, they would probably want to talk about the component stuff. I don't know much about that yet. Oh yeah, this issue about Twig being able to delete nodes is fixed. We can remove that.
Is that an issue?
Yeah. We opened
Yeah.
at Twin Cities.
Because you could just in like your node template, you could put like print node.delete or call it as a function. It would actually delete the node.
God fucking damn.
Yeah. Every node that you load would delete itself.
Should we just please make sure that we do not mention that anywhere?
Well, it's fixed now.
Okay. That's it.
Like when we were kind of talking on Twitter the other day, and you were kind of asking like, what can I call on these objects and stuff? Like, that's why I was saying like you can use get and you can use is and all those ones because those are like the whitelist.
Yeah.
But then everything else, like anything that's not whitelisted out of the box, you can't do it. But there is, I think it's in your settings PHP. You can add other stuff that you want to whitelist.
Yes.
And then we'll probably make more of like a nerdy module way to do that, but it works for now.
As long as we don't have that in. Yeah, it was the same issue we had about 2 years ago where from your settings, your install file, you could actually modify existing content types, which was fun. But also a way to destroy people's site if they were just trying to install a theme.
Yeah, okay, so I got the agenda is essentially down to like 4 issues now. So if anyone has anything else that they're working on or keeping an eye on that they think can go in during RC, then you can drop it in there. Actually, I should make sure that I put it in the right folder because I probably didn't. No, I didn't. So if you weren't able to see, you should be able to see it now. There we go.
Can you post the link again?
Yeah.
So, do we have an agenda today? Sorry, I was a little bit late. I had like meeting and stuff.
Yeah, we're it's okay. So yeah, the link is in there again.
All right, let me just change account.
But yeah, if there's anything else that we should talk about or just have on a radar, then we can add it. Joel said something. He said, I.
So the component thing is something that me, Joel, Lori, and I think Mike Kerr and Jacob Perry were talking about at Seattle camp.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I forgot about that.
So, actually, as a follow-up on that, during Bad Camp, I attended the Content Editor Summit, which was a really good talk. One of the things I was talking with one of the things Steve Pertz talked about, or we discussed, and actually it's all the way back to mid-camp a year and a half ago, where we talked about having like a template mapper. So you could map up templates toward, let's say, up towards a node. You want to use orange, blue, and green, but And so you can your templates would not be based on the names of what Drupal would suggest it. And that would actually be a step towards this whole idea of having component-driven theming. I think that's an interesting side project, but it also where it gets a little bit into maybe academia. And we have, in my perspective, we have other issues right now. The number one I heard from everybody I talked with, so there was both a training on Thursday and there was training on Friday. And I attended the training on Friday and talked about classy versus stable. And there was 2 sessions on Twig as well. I was in both of them. One of them was my session. And the number one thing I heard from everybody was they're just searching desperately for best practice right now. That's kind of the number one thing that people are struggling to figure out. How do I actually do this? And just basically people just asking me to Morten, just tell me how I do this the way you guys intended it, and I'm going to do that so I don't have to break my brain and learn and understand all kinds of new paradigms and so forth. So that's definitely a task I'm going to jump in on now in the next couple of months, trying to write some blog posts around how we intended and how classes should be defined inside of your template, and all of these things of how we have designed and discussed it.
Which, by the way, I put some of that in Pistachio.
Yes.
You take a look at it.
Sweet. Yeah. Oh, and vanilla, by the way, my vanilla theme already got forked, which is which is good. It's a Lollapop guys who forked it and called it strawberry. So we already now have a never-ending clusterfuck of ice cream taste. But that was actually, it got very well received by a bunch of people who really looked for somewhere where they could just look for examples of stuff. So the more of those things we can get out, the better. And the people's not understanding stable versus classy and where core can go and what we can do is a thing that I mean, the next 3 months, people need just a lot of documentation of how to do stuff. So that's... which is understandable. I remember Drupal 7, that was kind of the same thing I had in my head, and now we changed everything, and they're just like, how do we do stuff? Anyways, but yes, I'll look forward to see what's happening in Pistachio.
Yeah, I added a lot of stuff in the libraries, and started doing some stuff in the templates. Joel made a logo, which was cool.
Yes, I saw that in there's Joel, as we talk about the devil.
What I needed to do is start actually doing CSS for it.
Yeah, and the thing I'm doing in the vanilla thing right now is I'm just trying to find, every time I find something that's like strange or doesn't make sense, I make a note about it, so hopefully we can start a new thing on it. And one of the things we found out was like you don't have a comment count anywhere. That's not available at this point, and there's like some of the templates that are really strange, but it's just good we can get all that out there. So we hope. Oh, and I got documented all of the classes in Classy. I started that work on Sunday, and one of the themers I talked with back in DrupalCon at Barcelona, she got, I don't know if she was on too much sugar, but she jumped on the issue all the way from Greece, and then documented every class we actually have defined in Classy, including all the CSS-based classes. So that's in the documentation right now. Let's see if we can actually find it.
Cool.
I'm
curious if are Pistachio and Vanilla both based on Classy?
No, mine is based on stock. Stable.
Stable. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is every time I come around anything, be like, okay, how do I do that? How can I modify this? How can I, is there something I might want to do? If there's any string that's printed out that's pre-printed, which is the thing I hate, or have like a call to somewhere else, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, how do I rip this out as close to raw, secure data? That's kind of my whole thing about it. So vanilla in the sense of, and it's just a ton of variables dropped in, and every time I find variables, I try to just have them so I can print them out easy. So it's kind of it would be a theme you just want to clone and use for self-documentation or play around with. Anyways, let me see here. Viewing it to play.
Pistachio does have classy added.
Yes. Where do we put them? Here we go. Let me just drop the link in here. Classy selectors. Oh, another thing I heard was people was like, if we begin to call it selectors instead of classes, because all of the PHP guys get confused when we talk about classy classes and like what's a class actually. Anyways, there we got all the classes selected, and a thing that I got to think about is both with classy and stable is both of those themes are kind of quote unquote dead right now, because they are used to make sure that we can work on core and make core better and so forth. So I'm actually serious when I say I do think that we need to do a finding and naming conversion for them. So we can do a classy for 8.1, for example, and work towards that. And then find out, because we're going to find all kinds of mistakes, and we're going to change stuff all the way out in core. We're probably going to move stuff around so we can do that. I'm thinking about doing that out in Contrib, so we can move faster and also make it easier for new people to join in. And so when we find a mistake in core, or we find the thing that like, hey, this class name is not formatted right, we can begin to fix those things, which of course would make it a little bit strange that we both have a classy in core and then we have classy in Contrib. By the way, there's also a project called Classy, which is a class education something. So there's a little bit of like name spacing confusion there, but besides that,
now? There didn't used to be.
No, I was checking it to see if I could get if there was a project in Contrib called Classy, because then I wanted to grab that and be sure that we could use that.
Oh, there is. It's been there a while. Yeah, I thought there wasn't one.
Yeah.
Well,
so basically, I just want to find a name for it that makes sense, and then we can begin to do like iterations over stuff we find in Classy, as we can't change anything in Classy, and we can't change anything in stable. And that kind of, it makes people a little bit confused why we don't just change it until I explain how stuff is inherited, and if we do that, blah, 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 all these thoughts around it.
This thing could be killed.
I agree.
Take this. There's nothing in it, and it's like 3 years old, and there's no reviews or there's no code needed to it.
Yeah, there's no code. The repository is empty, so yeah, we can just.
Do we also have stable? Can we also grab that?
Yeah, we can grab that.
So if we have both of those, then we can begin to do a release based on each major release or minor release.
I'll grab stable, because if that's okay with everyone, because I'm probably going to try and be one of the maintainers of it.
Yes.
Just because I've been working on all that testing and crap.
Yeah. Simply so we can move that forward, because I just had a talk with Darky Chain, who's the one who documented all the CSS, and she was then jumping in on some of the other things. She's like, well, why do we have all of this crap here? I was like, well, because we didn't get it fixed before RC1. I said, well, do we then have to wait 5 years to get it done? I was like, no, not really. And like trying to explain to other people where they should then go got more and more confusing for me.
I'll put in a webmaster's issue for Classy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Sweet.
And if you want to post that in IRC or the chat or something, we can back you up.
Yes.
If need be.
Yeah, and then simply have a part.
Just all pile on.
Because that would at least make it simple for people to understand that, oh, okay, use Classy and stable to make sure that you could actually protect core from future development. And now where do I then go to get the updated stuff? Oh, it's out here in these two projects. I mean, that's at least just makes sense, and you can download them quick and fast.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that we need to figure out with that is, I'm thinking for people that are using like Drush, for example, how we could like lock them on a certain version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it's just easy, and we just do like 1.0, 2.0 or something, and 3.0.
Yeah. And maybe they just need to follow its own versioning. And like, well, we're just gonna run with it because it could. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we could maybe do something. No, never mind. I was gonna say we could specify like a minimum core version for each, but I don't think that really solves the problem. So anyway, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, it's kind of people jump over to that. They're just gonna run with it. I was also thinking about how we can make sure that we don't, if Stark is going to be hidden or die slowly, which is kind of is. It would. I would love to get John in and helping on some of the classy stuff because he's really good at having the huge overview of all of the classes and get a lot of the stuff he did with Zen in. And we should definitely look into that. And if we do it in Contrib, we can move so much faster. Also, because it makes no sense for anybody how come John is maintainer for Stark. That is just. But then again, he's also maintainer for Blue Marine, so maybe that's just his part of life. Everything we kill out of core ends up on his table. Yes. Besides of that, generally all people I've talked with around the front end are really, really happy about stuff, what they've seen so far. They're just confused about what the best practice is. And that we're not putting stuff into, or we haven't designed it to use preprocessors as heavy and those kind of things. And the confusion of how to get data out. So when you do a kint, you get everything in the kitchen sink, and what you really just wanted was the variables that you can use for something. So
yeah, I'm working on a new sort of session idea that I'll probably be doing in Toronto next month.
Yes.
It's based around the idea of like theming experience, because I think that's the motivation behind a lot of the stuff we've done.
Yeah.
And so I might be I'm kind of trying to do like a handful of almost like little stories of like, oh, like we came up with this idea and blah blah blah. So anyway, yeah. I might be bugging some of you over the next few weeks for
bug me for real about it, because that's actually the next thing I really want to work on, figuring out how we make. I'm really afraid that we're going to end up with a lot. Not afraid, but I'm a little bit scared that we're going to end up with a lot of themes coming out for Drupal 8 that is going to have so much technical depth because people did not know what we did, and they're going to do the theme in one way, and then as they work through it and we come up to 8.3, suddenly like, oh, fuck, I have to rewrite everything now and I have to clean up everything and how to actually do this. And by the way, Joel Pitted, you are not allowed to do any more logos for anything.
Why? I like his logo.
God damn it.
What's wrong with his logo? I don't see you making one.
Oh, God.
Put up or shut up.
Yeah, I think we need to make one. I'm guessing that was like a Google image search.
Yeah. Well, actually, Lewis came up. He actually found two of them. We found an emotion card with a horse on, and the other one with a high hat on, which for 20 seconds at least on the mobile phones worked really good.
Yeah.
Anyways, there is ways of doing this, but let's just play around with it, because when are we actually expecting final release? I for fun think that we're going to have it before December, but there it is. So it's more like.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
Yeah, stable is the horse.
We have that's cool. We actually have two Drupal twigs somehow. Lewis, is that you?
I think so.
Yeah, we're both Drupal twig. That's amazing.
Jesus. So we actually have a twig.clone.
Hello.
I was working on basic, the theme basic, and just trying to get it up to date for Drupal 8. And Scott noticed that I added an issue because we're using raw in the templates, and so I'm trying to get
Yeah, I
rid of.
haven't looked at the patch yet, so I don't. Which templates are those?
Those are HTML templates, so I don't want to have raw in templates.
Yes.
So
Oh, HTML template. Oh, okay.
yeah, your HTML, XML.
I have removed all references to raw in my slides because basically it's not a thing people should know about. I think that the most important thing for themers is that if they can find the data, they will not go and do dumb things with it. I mean that's like the most important thing. Because that was what we did in 7. It was like you got desperate and like, oh, here's my data I can use. Here's the number of comments or whatever it is, and then you just grab that and you would use it for whatever. And that's just how things got confusing. Anyways, another thing we were talking about during Bad Camp, I was in a talk around prototyping, and we talked about Twig, and we talked about general front end, and I also talked with Joel about it after you guys had left. That one of the things I've been thinking about, which was very confusing for me to getting into core and figure out where core work was going. Now that we actually have a front-end group, I would love to propose either a buff or something like that in New Orleans and do like state of Drupal's front-end. Because at the end of the day, if our little group here on Drupal Twig, if we decide on something and we want to go a certain way with the code, it's probably going to happen. And if somebody else comes in and want to try to do something else, it's probably, unless they can get traction from our little group or find other people who want to work on it, it's probably not going to go. And the thing that I remember from years is that for the last couple of years, it was always hard for me to figure out who actually takes the decisions, how do I get in, how do I get influence on it, who should I push, who should I help, and so forth. So I was thinking about doing either a buff or if we're getting a front-end summit, which we might going to get in New Orleans, doing a state of the front end, or this is the plans for the next version of this is what we've done with Twig so far. This is what we're going to work on towards 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. These are the issues we have found so far, and this is kind of the plan we have of the different parts of it. This is the plan for Bardic. This is the plan for 7. This is where we're going to go with stable and classy. This is what we still want to fix around back-end stuff, or data that comes in, or simply to give people an idea of where we're going with the code, so we give a place so they can actually, if you come in as new, you can go into this one session and get an idea where we're pushing it. Or, as I heard from multiple developers, they have absolutely no idea what we're doing. And maybe that will actually be a good way of also opening up a little bit and be to give the rest of the Drupal community an idea of where we're actually at. So just to warn you guys, I'm going to propose that either as a buff or a session or something.
So like a public version of this, like
pretty much
the con version of this.
Yeah, a con where we actually do slides about like here's what we're doing with. This is the thing we're doing with 7 right now. These are the UX changes we've done so far. All that stuff.
Do you mean for all of Drupal 8 or just the future stuff?
Well, it was mainly like how do I come to a DrupalCon or a Drupal event and get an idea of what these guys have been doing with the front end, and how can we ease to get new people in, and also acknowledging that we do have a power structure or a decision structure that we have built up over the last 3 years. So actually what we're working on, what is it that we're going to work on, what's our plan for the future, what are the things that we want to see happening, because if you look at how we got stable in, that got in because we were the right people in the right room, and we sat down and we just had the discussion with the right people, and then 3 steps further down we suddenly have a new theme inside of core, and nobody actually knew what was happening. Nobody have an idea what's happened. Who's going apeshit about it? Oh, that's my pumpkin from yesterday.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm in the US right now. We're carving pumpkins, and I was thinking about the scariest thing, and I did like, fuck it, let me do PHP template.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so it was just an idea of how can we, especially also onboarding new people, because we need that. We need more people around, both classy and probably also, I don't know, Lewis, about you guys in 7, but I have an idea that you could use more people. Same thing with Bardic, and we have enough issues. So doing a 30-minute like this is the state of the front end. This is where we're going to go. This is the plans right now, and then having a room for people to actually be like, what's actually happening, or I don't understand this, or why did you choose to do that? And it's kind of jumping up on thing that Dries have done the last couple of years, where they do that whole Q&A thing as the last session of DrupalCon. And it was just like it's a good place to get an idea what we're actually doing. So that. Yeah, and David, yeah, either a panel session or a Monday summit thing, one of the two. I don't know. I don't know yet. It was just a thing that came up during Bad Camp, and I was talking with Amanda from Drupal Association. I just pinged her and like, hey, here's an idea. Also, all of the prototype people I was talking with, they are jumping in on Slack, where I created on Drupal.slack. I created a front-end room. Basically, it's right now just to discuss prototyping and prototyping tools and finding ways for that. But that's another channel, because a lot of these people were like straight up designers, and when I said IRC, they were like, "What's this IRC thing?" But it's a little bit cumbersome to get people in on Slack. So, anyways, that's enough for me today.
I just posted an issue. I just kind of popped back in my head. So it just wants to change the default regions, the order of the default regions, not actually in the template, but just like how they're declared, so that when you're in the blocks UI, it is like follows the DOM order type thing, like follows how they're printed in the templates. I'm just wondering, can anyone think of a reason why this couldn't go in? Like maybe not during RC, but like after?
No, it should be able to go in afterwards, because we're not going to freeze the UI or anything, so we're not really worrying about screenshots of inbooks and stuff going out of date. That's going to happen anyway. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just I kind of saw it. It was either last night or this morning, and I kind of thought like, oh yeah, that should happen, because it does kind of make sense. Like I think when and I saw your tweet as well, like Lewis, about the naming of the regions and stuff, and like yeah, like that stuff we didn't really have a lot of time to clean up, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks really weird, because I was looking at it when I was building a Drupal 8 theme for a project, and I went into the original template, and I was like, what? We have like four regions, and they're all badly named.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Cool, I can look at this issue if you want.
Yeah, I think they updated some tests and stuff, but it looks pretty straightforward, I think. And but yeah, I guess we might have to technically like bump it to 8.1 or something. Well, not necessarily 8.1, but like it just can't get in during RC, I don't think.
Yeah, it's such a minor patch that I don't know. I don't really know.
Or we can if we can think of a reason why it makes sense to get in during RC, but I'm not sure if we can have a good justification or not.
No, probably not.
Yeah. So, does anyone have anything else they want to talk about today? Actually, David, we were talking about in IRC about like, now that we're in RC, should we still be doing this every week? Should we go to every 2 weeks? Opinions?
I think it makes sense to do it each week. It's just a good way to. When we did it for every other week, if you missed that meeting, you were kind of out of the loop for a month.
Yeah.
So, and we maybe not have like a lot to talk about, or make it very, very quick, but it's just a good way to like quickly touch on something, or be like, hey, we need attention on this, or this is where we're going with this or that, and then take it from there.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with it because personally, anyway, because like before, well, now that we're kind of like more decentralized and anyone can, well, any of us anyway can like start these hangouts, then it's if I have to miss a week or something, it's not a big deal. So I'm fine with every week still. Just wanted to see what other people think. So Joel, this is your raw thing.
Yeah, that's the raw one, so I just want to get rid of those out of the template. I checked it as RC target triage. Hopefully that will make it through to that. Also, just wanted
you have
to say,
you have to do like your reasoning, don't you?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Well, I did the reasoning and the fact that it's a security thing and we don't want to be promoting it, so that's my reasoning. I just wanted to give a shout out to Mike for helping, and all the rest of the people on that issue that were helping out with the delete. No delete in the Twig template. It's been in and nobody's complained so far.
Yeah.
That they couldn't do something.
So one person did complain, but
okay, well,
it seemed okay with the settings PHP or something workaround.
Nice. So yeah, we have the ability to work around it, and we have the ability to not let people call delete methods and stuff. So we get, yeah, best of both worlds. And yeah, shout out from Mike that finished that one off and got it committed during back camp stuff. And you already said this, but just say thanks again for getting rid of the theme functions.
Yeah.
We have no more theme.
Yeah, and shout out to A Colada for kind of kicking our asses around Barcelona to get a lot of those moving.
Yes. She's nasty to us. We get all kinds of stuff done when she comes after us.
Well, it's good that we finally got those ones out, and now we can concentrate on some Starkey stuff and other such stuff.
Okay.
And I've been pushing. I pushed a few changes for Bartik on Monday, Tuesday. Actually, not Bartik. Basic, the theme, the other theme, and just trying to get it working. There's lots of little things I have to sort out, figure out how you do in Drupal 8, but sure I'll get there. I have no idea how like the settings schema thing works, so that'll be fun to figure out. Yeah, it looks like all of our core templates have a setting schema with nothing in them.
I don't think that's needed.
Yeah, so it's weird that it has like a
I was
folder.
doing the same thing when I was like commenting all like the different settings and stuff like that for when I was working on Pistachio, and I think there's stuff in there that's not needed anymore.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was either a holdover from conversion or it was something that was used and something got changed and they weren't needed. And
it looks like the theme settings are just the same as they were in Drupal 7, but then they have this folder that looks like it ties to it somehow. So yeah, I have no idea how that works. And I tried looking in our theme documentation. Totally doesn't have anything. It used to be called advanced theming or something for these settings, but that section's not there in Drupal 8, so it's a bit of a mystery. So I'll figure that one out and try to document it as well as I go. Boyan was asking me about Basic because I think he uses it, so that's why I'm trying to get it to a stable state.
Not confusing at all.
No.
You're trying to get stable.
Bartik Basic stable. But yeah, so that's all I have on my plate, and then I'm just kind of still triaging and trying to get everything off of 8.0.x into 8.1 or postponed or something.
Joel, if you could ping me on the issues that you want to have me to close and open or do stuff on, then so I can get that out the way.
Okay, the two field ones I'll ping you.
Yeah, but basically everything, whatever we're going to have on fields is going to be a discussion. I think we need to move to that contrib version of Classy. and then take a decision there instead. So it don't end up being this end-all, be-all kind of discussion where people have a tendency to go, at least that was happened 2 years ago, complete bad shit about removing one class. Anyway, so just put them over, and I'm gonna hammer on them and see if probably just gonna close them.
Is the idea that? Sorry, I have a question. Is the idea that people will use the contrib classy, like in 8.1 instead of the core classy?
My idea with this is so at some point we're gonna have. There's a lot of mistakes and dumb things that isn't in classy right now. Class names that's not optimal, class name that should be with double dashes and all kinds of stuff. Or a field naming we could do better, or classes that's not needed there, it's just there because of how Drupal used to do stuff. My idea with it would be a place where we could discuss a better version of Drupal's core markup. Because basically what classy and stable is just the first step towards making the complete split of Drupal markup and Drupal functionality. So the idea would be it's a jumping point from classy towards both what we're going to do in Drupal core, so we can follow that, but also where we can fix and change a lot of these things, and where we can have more of the discussion and maybe move some of the things we've seen in Zen theme that's worked really well and make that really popular for people who want to work this way. So it would be I guess the idea is like it's so we can work on pretty much work towards whatever we're going to do in Drupal 9 for classy. So when Drupal 9 comes out, we have classy Drupal 9 ready to go from the get-go, because we've worked over it for the last X amount of years and we found all these new best practices and so forth.
Yeah, okay, so it's kind of like a feature branch or something, I guess.
Yeah, I think my impression was that like your original thought, Lewis, around like will people use the classy 8.1 in Drupal 8.1, I think like yes, but they could also use that version with like Drupal 8.2, right?
Yeah.
It's just more like to give them, and there may not necessarily be one for each like major or not major, minor release of D8, but yeah, we can provide. Yeah, I think the idea is just so that we can provide like alternative versions that are better. Like Martin was saying. Yeah,
and if I can get John in to jump on doing all of his crazy SaaS stuff and do all the partials and these things that he really want to do there, so we could build that in, and at the same time also do the same thing just with basic CSS, so we can kind of provide a really quote unquote stable classy theme.
Yeah.
So we have that starting point for people who just want to have basic standard classes that they know works, and we can all kind of contribute one place, and then we can all of us can jump out to our own little dumb vanilla chocolate whatever themes else we're going to work on. So we don't end up having 10 different starting themes because I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way. So we have a place for new people to come in and just start the stuff out.
Chocolate is available.
A what?
Chocolate is available.
Perfect.
I know, Lewis, you jump on that.
Without making a new theme.
I'm working on the logo.
I guess we do have to make a new theme, right?
Yeah, we have to.
Well, I mean, we have a meeting, so we have to make one.
Good. Making chocolate.
Are we gonna just at a certain point? Are we just gonna like randomly generate names, and it's just gonna be like
P9Z1. Rocky Road's available.
Rocky Road. I like Rocky Road.
Are we just gonna go on ice cream stuff from now on and forever?
I like it. A lot of possibilities.
Yeah, a rainbow of possibilities. All right, should we wrap it up?
Yes.
I guess so.
Okay. All right, we'll talk to you all next week.
Yes.
And, yeah, thanks for coming out
All right.
and making some new themes.
Yeah, more themes.
Well, I guess we made stable today technically, so maybe we're okay.
Yeah,
for
we
today.
are actually okay. Yeah. And both got stable and classy as two separate ones. We're actually okay for the next 2 weeks.
Nice. Well, we made the contrib versions anyway, so
That counts.
Yes.
cool.
Two more
Bye.
All
things.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.